Today we will start with a new topic in history, socialism in Europe and the Russian Revolution. Now we have already done the French Revolution, and in that chapter we have studied about the ideas of freedom and equality that circulated in Europe after the French Revolution. So we had the ideals of liberty, equality, and fraternity coming out of the French Revolution, if you remember. And so from France, these ideas they floated or they circulated into the rest of Europe. Now, the French Revolution, it opened up a possibility of changing the way in which society was structured. People thought that now, after the French Revolution, people started to think that they can bring about a change in the structure in which the society is created or structured in their respective countries. Because if you remember, in France there were how many estates?
Three. Three
Three estates.
estates.
Okay, and was there equality among the three estates?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
All right. So
No, ma'am.
okay, so it was a structure which was based on privileges based on birth. Means just because the people of the first estate and second estate they were born in clergy or nobility, so they had those so many privileges, and the people of the third estate they were deprived of all the privileges, and they were the ones who bore the brunt of all the taxes. And so after the French Revolution, people started to realize that they can also bring about a change in which their society was structured or made. And then after the revolution, it seemed possible that they can change everything. Earlier, the aristocracy and the church, they control, means the aristocracy, the nobility and the church, they controlled the power in the country, and they had so much power over the political matters also, and over economic matters, social matters. So the nobles and the church, they had a lot of control and power over all this. And now, after the revolution, it seemed that it was possible to change all this, and in many parts of the world, including Europe and even Asia, new ideas about the rights of the individual and as to who should control the social power. Now, it all these ideas began to be discussed, and in India also, Raja Ram Mohan Roy and Rosio, they also talked about the significance of the French Revolution, and many others debated about the ideas of the post-revolutionary, means after revolution. Whatever happened in Europe, so people they started to discuss about the ideas that came after the French Revolution. And even means the colonies, they also got some change in the developments in the colonies also. Means they also there were developments in the countries because of this French Revolution, because we have the ideas of freedom and equality for all people coming in. And so even in the colonies, these ideas changed the structure in which the society was built. People started to think along the lines of independence and freedom and equality with all people. But it was not that everyone in Europe they wanted a complete change or a complete transformation of society. There were some people who wanted the society to change completely, but there were some who thought that that a little bit of change is okay, but not a complete change. So responses they varied. That there were some who accepted that change was necessary, but some wish that there should be a gradual shift, not a sudden change, a sudden upheaval, a sudden change, and the whole society is transformed. Some were like there should be a gradual shift, and now some were conservatives, other were liberals, some were radicals. Now, what did these terms mean during that time, and what separated these three ideas, ideas, and what linked them together? Now, But while we'll discuss this, we need to remember that these terms, they did not mean the same thing in all contexts and in all times. Means the meaning of these also change. The meanings of conservatives, liberals and radicals, it also changed with time. Okay, now in this chapter we will briefly look at some of the important political traditions of the 19th century, and we will see that how they brought about change. Then we will also focus on one particular historical event in which there was an attempt to radically, means completely change the society or completely transform the society. And now through this revolution, so obviously we will study Russian Revolution in this chapter, and through this revolution in Russia, socialism came to be one of the most significant and powerful ideas to shape the society in the 20th century. Now what this socialism is, what is who were the conservatives, who were the liberals and radicals, now let's study about them. Okay, now one of the groups who wanted to change society were the liberals. Now, as the name suggests, liberal. Now, liberals, they wanted a nation which tolerated all religions, means which had respect for all religions. And now, why this was a major point? Because now at this time in Europe, different Europe states, they usually discriminated one religion in favor of other. Like many of these states, they favored just one religion over the other religions. Like Britain, it favored the Church of England. Austria and Spain, they favored the Catholic Church. So likewise, and that is why they thought that the liberals, they wanted a nation which tolerated or had equal respect for all religions. Now the liberals were also opposed to the power of these monarchs, the dynastic rulers. They did not like that. The uncontrolled power, they had absolute power. Their power was not controlled by written laws or by a constitution, and so they could do as per their wishes. And so the liberals, they were opposed to this uncontrolled power which was in the hands of these dynastic rulers, and they wanted that the rights of the individuals should also be safeguarded in the government. So the government, it should look about to safeguard the rights of the citizens. And so the liberals, they wanted a representative government, an elected parliamentary government. All right, and so the liberals, they stood for a representative parliamentary form of government which was under laws interpreted by a well trained judiciary. So basically what they wanted, something like we have now. So we have rules and regulations in the constitution, and those are interpreted by the judiciary. We have a representative parliamentary form of government. All right, and so that was independent of rulers and officials. So, and they wanted this type of government, and this type of government should be independent of rulers, means rulers and officials, means nobles and rulers. They did not wanted them to be a part of this representative form of government. Now still, so though they wanted all these changes, but still they were not democrats, means they did not believe in universal adult franchise. They did not wanted all people to vote. They did not, the liberals did not stand for universal adult franchise. They did not wanted all adult population to vote, and they felt that only men who own property, so they wanted that the propertied section of the society, only they should have the right to vote. And the liberals, they also did not wanted the women to vote. So these were the liberals, the main beliefs of the liberals. Now we move on to the radicals. Now in contrast to the liberals, the radicals, they wanted a nation in which the government, it was based on the majority of a country's population. Means what it means, that they supported universal adult franchise, and many of these radical groups, they also supported women's suffragette movements. Now if you remember, when we were doing the French Revolution, all men were also not allowed to vote. Only the property section were allowed to vote, and only people who gave taxes uh, uh, equal to 3 days of a labor's wage. Only those were allowed to vote, and the rest of the men were also not allowed to vote. And then later on, all men were allowed to vote under the Robespierre government, and later on again that was taken away, and the voting rights were given only to the property section of the society. But the radicals, they wanted a government, which was elected by all the adult population, all adult men population, and many of them also supported the voting rights of women. Unlike liberals, means this is contrast, unlike liberals, they oppose the privileges of great landowners and wealthy factory owners. So radicals, they did not wanted that there should be special privileges to the landowners and the factory owners, and they were not against the, so they did not wanted that special privileges should be given to the highest section of society. Now because the liberals, they stood that only the property section of the society they should vote, so obviously, they supported people with money. But the radicals, they opposed this, they opposed that privileges should not be given only to the rich people. And they were not like, they did not wanted property to be in the hand of private individuals. It was not that they were against that, but they disliked that property, they did not like that property should be only in the hands of a few people. Though they were not against private property, but still they did not like that all property, all land should be concentrated in the hands of only a few people. Okay, so these were the radicals. Now the conservatives, they were opposed to both the radicals as well as the liberals. Now after the French Revolution, even the conservatives, now they opened their mind, they also started to think that okay, some change is necessary. Conservatives are basically those, those who are opposed to change, and they don't want, they believe in the established institutions of kings and church, established institutions of monarchy and church and all that. And so they attach a lot of relevance to all that. And but after the French Revolution, even the conservatives, they opened their mind, they started to think that there is need for a little change. Earlier in the 18th century, conservatives, in the 18th century, earlier in the 18th century, means before the French Revolution, they had been generally opposed, they did not wanted to change, they did not like the idea of change. But by the 19th century, they accepted that some changes inevitable, means you cannot do without some change, so some change was born to be there. But still the conservatives believed that the past had to be, that the past had to be respected, and change had to be brought about through a slow process. So liberals, radicals, they wanted fast change, all right, but whereas the conservatives, they agreed for change but very slow, not a total change, all right, some change, but they believe that still past needs to be respected and change need to be brought about by a slow process. Now all these three are such differing ideas, and so differing ideas as to how society it should be made, it should be constructed. And so obviously different ideas, so obviously there will be clashes. So all these different ideas about the change in society, they clash during the social and the political trauma that followed after the French Revolution. And so various attempts at revolutions and uprising and transformation of nations in the 19th century, they helped define the limits and the potential of these political tendency, means the revolutions and the transformation in the 19th century, they helped to define the what were the limits of these three different ideas, and what were the potential of these three political tendencies. Now these new political trends, they were a sign of a new time, and it was a time of profound means very intense intense, very great social and economic changes. Means it was a time when there were great changes in the way the society was constructed, or in economy there were so many changes. And this was a time, when new cities came up, and industrialized sections they developed, railways expanded, and we had the industrial revolution. So this was a time of change. Now industrial because of industrialization, men, women and children, they came to work at these factories which were constructed during this industrial revolution. And now in these factories and mills, the work hours were often very long, and the wages were very poor. Means these people who were working in the factories, they were made to work for such long period of time, so long hours, and their wages, their salary was very low. And unemployment was common. So that though, with the industrial revolution we had so many more opportunities available for employment, but still, there were more seekers of job than jobs available. So the people who looked for jobs, they were obviously many times more in number than the actual number of jobs available. And so, unemployment, it was common. And they were this was particularly during times of low demand. So whenever there was a low demand of a particular good, then obviously the demand for labor, it went down. Then housing and sanitations were a problem, because these towns were growing rapidly, wherever a factory was established. So people, they came in from long distances and they started working in the factories, they started living here. And so, these towns, they came up at a very rapid pace. And because they came up at a very rapid pace, so, proper housing and sanitation facilities were not available in these areas. And the liberals and the radicals, they searched, they tried to find out solution to all these problems. Now almost all the industries at that time, they were the property of individuals, means private people. And now many times even these liberals and radicals, now they often were property owners, and they also had their own industries, and they were also employers. Now these liberals, many of these liberals and radicals, now they have also made their wealth through trade and through these industrial ventures, through businesses. And they felt that efforts like this, they should be encouraged, and the benefits received, benefits achieved, if the workforce in the economy was healthy. And they thought that the benefits would be achieved. When will the benefits achieved of all this? When the people who are working in these factories and mills, they were healthy, and they were those citizens who were educated. So though these liberals and radicals, though they also had lots of many times, they were also industry and factory owners and mill owners, and they have also made a lot of wealth. But still, these people were of the thought that through that these type of works, they should be encouraged, and people should have a better life. Means the people should be healthy, and they should be educated. So they worked for that. Now opposed, and these people, the liberals and the radicals, they were opposed to the privileges which were given to the old aristocracy. Means we have seen that in course of French Revolution also, that the nobles, they had privileges which were given to them by birth. And so these people were opposed to that. They did not like that the privileges were given to anyone on the basis of birth. And they believed that means the privileges should be based on a person's talent, his skill, his hard work, and not on birth. And so they believed in the value of individual or human labor, human effort. And if so, according to them, if freedom of individual was ensured, and if the poor could labor, so what they wanted, these liberals and radicals, they fought for, and they wanted that the individuals should be free. All right, that the individuals should be free, they should have freedom. and the poor were allowed to work. So if people had freedom, the poor people also allowed to work, and then those who had capital, those who had money, who could invest, and those people were allowed to operate without any resistance, then they believed societies could change. Means those with money, they can set up enterprises, they can set up factories and mills, and the people, the poor people, they can come and work there, and so they can all, and the benefits could be shared, the benefits reaps could be shared with the people who are working there in the factories and the mills, and so the lives of the people can become better. So many working men and women who wanted these changes in the world, they rallied, means they moved around, they stayed around these liberals and radicals groups and parties in the early 19th century. So people, working men and women who wanted these change. Earlier, basically what happened, uh, that the factory owners, the workers were working, the workers worked hard, but all the money, all the benefit, all the profit was pocketed by the industry owners. Now these liberals and radicals, they stood that they thought that these the benefit or the profit which is earned, now that should be divided, that should also go, means the benefits of the profit should also go to the workers, because they are the ones, who are making this happen. And so people who wanted these changes in the society, they started to move around and stay with the liberal group and the radical groups and parties in the early 19th century. Now, some nationalists, liberals and radicals, they wanted revolutions in the different parts of Europe, and they wanted to put an end to the kind of government established in Europe in 1815. Now, this you will study in class 10th. Conservative governments were put in Europe in 1815, and this was through the Treaty of Vienna. So the conservative governments were put in force, and these governments, they did not like dissent, they did not like anyone to speak against the government. They were very strict. People did not have freedom of speech, the media and everything, it was all controlled by the governments. And so the nationalists, the liberals and the radicals, they wanted a change. They wanted that these type of conservatives government which was established in Europe in 1815, now these type of governments should come to an end. And so in France, Italy, Germany and Russia, these nationalists, liberals and radicals, they became revolutionaries, and they wanted to overthrow the kings, the rulers who were ruling there. And nationalist people, uh, those who wanted their countries to be nation states. Now what are these nation states? Obviously, I will explain it to you. And so nationalist people who had this love for their nation, they talked about revolutions, and they wanted the creation of nations where all citizens would have equal rights. So earlier, what happened, that the same country was divided into so many different kingdoms, and over the same country different dynasties and different kings and different rulers were ruling. And so though it was one country, but there was no feeling of oneness or unity among the people. And so during this time in Europe, people started to protest for the formation of nation states. They wanted that the people who share the same history, or who share the same descent, who have same tradition and cultures in common, they should live together, and they should be sovereign, they should be free in their own territories, and there should be uniform rules to rule over them. So basically that is what they wanted. And so the nationalists, they talked about revolutions to create the nations or the nation states, and they wanted these nation states to be such where all the citizens have equal privileges and equal rights. And so after 1815, Giuseppe Mazzini, who was an Italian nationalist, he also got together with like-minded people of his own thoughts, all right, to achieve this in Italy. And nationalists in other places also, including India, they read his writing. And like I told you, this unification process and the formation of nation states and all this you will do more in class 10. But people at that time, they wanted their nations to be united and be sovereign in their own boundary. Like Italy, it was also divided into 7 princely states, and only into 7 divisions. Only one division was ruled by an Italian prince. The rest were ruled by different dynasties. And they wanted that the whole of Italy, it should be united. Italy should be unified and be one under one king, and the powers of the king should be under a constitution. Means the ruler should rule under the constitution, and his powers should be subdued by a constitution, and the people should have certain rights, and where they have freedom, and where they have equality with the rest of the people, where the privileges were not based on birth. So people, the nationalists, they started to work for, and they started revolutions to for these nation states to be formed. And next year you will be studying about the unification of Italy, unification of Germany. Like I told you about Italy, it was comprised of 7 princely states. Germany, it was a confederacy of 39 states, small units, 39 confederacies, and how it came to be unified. And so people, they worked for the unification of their countries, for the formation of nation states. And so they started to work so that when they have one common ruler ruling over them, people have unity among them, and then they could achieve the welfare of the people. Also, people can also get certain rights in their own sovereign territory. Okay, so I think for today we will stop here, and then when we meet again, we will continue. Have you understood what we have done today? This is a very important chapter, and you need to get the terms right, everything in your mind right, and then only we can build on that. As we progress in the chapter, we'll have to build the on these terms, on these things only, on this foundation only. So have you all understood what we have done today? Is it clear to all?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Alright.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
so I would like that all of you
Yes, ma'am.
today spend some time. We have not done much. Okay? Basically, 2.5 pages. Just 2.5 pages. Please at least once or twice read the portion that we have done today. Will that be okay with all of you? Will you read it?
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Alright.
ma'am.
Okay. So that would be all for today.